I will, if I have, I'll take any questions anybody has or anything like that. If I have any questions from our esteemed board members.
I got one, yeah.
Yes.
What can we do? What's the, besides running something ourselves, the ones that get it, the youth here today, what's the best and most efficient way to grow our ranks?
The best way to grow our ranks is to start actually reaching out to more of the people that we need, okay? We all pretty much agree that demographically, okay, we need to get some more black people, Hispanic people. We got to get more people in general voting for conservative Republican candidates and swelling our ranks. Well, the easiest and best way to do that is to go talk to people. Maybe it means articulating our message a little differently. You know, maybe it's something as simple as saying, well, you know what? The president believes that bigger government and collective action is what provides individual opportunity. We disagree. We believe that smaller government and entrepreneurism in a free market is what helps to spur individual achievement, individual opportunity. It's something as simple as that. You know, we're saying like, well, our friends on the other side, they believe that the best way to help poor people is to take money from rich people and give it to them. Well, we disagree. We believe that the best way is to shrink the ranks of the poor by helping to swell the ranks of the middle class and the ranks of the rich people by creating more individual opportunity for everybody. You know, no, we're not the party that wants to protect rich people. We're the party that wants to help everybody get rich that can and wants to. Simple as that. We have the principles, we have the values that made this country great. Now, somewhere along the line, we may have stopped saying it in a way that people are listening now. So all we have to do is change that. You know, there was this old commercial, like old guys like me will remember the Oldsmobile commercial. This is not your grandfather's Oldsmobile. Well, it's not your grandfather's party, but I would change that a little bit. We still have your grandfather's values and principles. We're just using your grandson's message delivery system. That's all. We don't have to compromise our principles and values in order to win. Look, it's probably pretty obvious to tell, I'm an African American, I'm black, just in case anybody didn't know. Well, I talk to a lot of black folks. Guess what? I am not the only black person in Connecticut that believes taxes are too high and our government's too big. I'm not the only black person that is tired of seeing jobs leave Connecticut instead of coming into Connecticut. I'm not. There are some black, Hispanic, independent, unaffiliated, whatever you want to call, people out there, a lot, who feel the same way. It's just that the other side has gotten better at saying, we care about you, we want to help. You know, you want to know the difference, really, between like the two messages, like this past election? Barack Obama was really good at saying, I like you and I care about you, I really do. I do, I care about you. Mitt Romney, not so effective at that. Doesn't mean he doesn't care, okay? But not so effective. And I'll tell you one thing that frustrated me. Yes, the whole 47% thing, so we can't write off anybody. Now, I was campaigning in New Haven. Walking around, I'm talking to voters in New Haven, like on Whaley Avenue and stuff like that. People who had no idea who Mitt Romney was. Didn't know a thing about him. But you know what they knew? You're a Republican? Oh, 47%? You're down with the 47%? I'm like, oh, come on, you're killing me, man. You know, I got to carry the weight for all that? Come on. You know? We can't, especially in Connecticut. Think about Connecticut for a second. We lost the governorship in 2010 by like 5,000 votes or so. We have reached the point where we can no longer win with just the suburbs, with just our base. So we have to, whether we want to or not, we have to find a way to, if not win in our urban cores, to be competitive there. The only way to do that, I'll put it in business terms, the only way to get a slice of the market share is to penetrate the market. There's no other way to do it. That's what we have to do. There are people, I've talked to people, and I'm using black just because it's easy and you'll get it. There's this theory, there's this belief that, well, the Democrats, they care about black people. Republicans don't care. They don't like us. Well, okay, but the truth is, when I'm having that Republican-Democrat discussion with a lot of my fellow African-American voters, yes, the initial response is, Republicans don't like us and they don't care about us. The next thing that many say is this: well, Democrats aren't much better, but at least they act like they care, so I vote for them. That's not a hardcore Democrat. That's a person that, if given an option, would vote with us. We have to start. Part of the problem is our party has gotten the perception of the grand old party. And Democrats are really good at selling that. It's the grand old party, a bunch of old cigar-smoking white guys. Maybe we ought to start getting people used to the idea that GOP, that means greater opportunities for people. All people. Everybody. That's something that's simplistic, but that's the essence of what we have to do. And we will be successful. Yeah.
Guys, any questions?
Yeah, going along with what you were saying about changing how we get the message out, I've seen with a lot of people that I've talked to who are Democrats or just not Republicans or conservatives, it seems that if they really paid attention, that they really would vote Republican, they would be conservative. Like I always say that the Republican Party is a party for everyone. Do you think that's real? Like that people, if they really were informed, they'd be Republican instead of Democrat, and the Democratic Party is just good at making them demonize us. Which is why
yes, that's largely true. It's perception. You know, most of the, if you go into our urban centers, the vast majority of Democratic voters actually have no frame of reference for Republicans. I was campaigning, and I say this as someone who's just run a congressional race in a largely urban area. I was talking to people who had never seen a Republican face-to-face before. I was the first one. And half of them didn't know what to do with me because I was black. They're like, well, damn. We like you, Wayne. We like what you're saying, but you're a Republican. I don't even know what to do with that. And part of that, yes, it's perception. Think about it. The only people that have ever spoken to them about Republicans are Democrats. Democrats make really bad spokesmen for Republicans. Yeah. Think of it like this. If you grew up in Creston, Iowa, or Yankton, South Dakota, and you've never seen any black people, except on, cops. Exactly. You're probably going to have a certain perception about black people, because that's all you know. Well, think about it. If all you know about Republicans is that, well, they're racist, and they like rich people, and they don't really like people of color, and yeah, they're evil. And never does a Republican ever show up to refute that message, then guess what? You can't really blame that person. And that's part of it. The part that's our fault is we haven't bothered to have the conversation in our urban cores in about 40 years. So we have to start. One of the things that I have done, if I may, I have started a leadership and achievement motivational program in our high schools. Going to our high schools, speaking to seniors, juniors, even freshmen at some of our high schools. My program is called Brave Enough to Fail. And what that simply means is any success in any endeavor requires that you are brave enough to risk failure in order to pursue it. Kind of like starting up a business. No guarantee, but if you're scared of failing, well, then you'll stay home. Well, it's a message of entrepreneurship, independence, and hard work and persistence. Sound familiar? You kind of look at Republic and our core principles and values, basically says the same thing. I just don't call it that because I'm in public schools. But what is happening is, as a Republican candidate and someone who's getting a presence in our high schools, I'm beginning to counter the message, the liberal message that our students are getting, and they are getting a positive frame of reference for a Republican. Think about that for a second. Students who the first Republican that they actually see in their school is someone who actually cares about them. Now that's someone that's more likely to listen to our message. The other part of that is this. Now, probably not a whole lot of parents in this room, but a lot of people in this room probably have parents, yes? Okay. Think about your parents for a second. If someone does something meaningful to help you, your parents will probably, if for no other reason, just out of human decency, give that person at least 5 minutes to hear what you're talking about. You help somebody's child, the parent will at least give you a couple minutes to hear what you have to say. Well, guess what? All of the students that I'm reaching, I am giving our party the opportunity to have that 5 minutes. The students that I'm talking to, those juniors and seniors, in 2014, that's right, they're eligible with both. Oh, wow. Again, it's not a silver bullet, but it's a way to start. What I am hoping is that the leaders in our party will support either this effort that I'm undertaking or others like it, or support you in efforts like this. Because that's how we turn the tide. That's how we start to enlarge our base. It works in advertising, it works in business, it works everywhere it's tried, but unfortunately, politically speaking, a lot of us have been reticent to try because it's not how we do things. You know, and what I find, what kind of frustrates me in talking to a lot of our leaders within the Republican Party, at least here statewide, is we really want to do outreach. It's just that nobody knows how, and nobody wants to be first. So, I am doing what I can to be first, in my small way. And I'm making myself available to groups like yours to help you in any way I can. Anyone else?
Anybody else? Great, Wayne.
All right.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.